Travis sat across from Megan at the Panera Bread on Elm Street, holding his coffee with both hands like he needed something warm to steady himself, and told her he thought they should just be friends. He said it slowly, carefully, like someone trying to sound honest rather than actually be honest. He paused in the right places, chose the softer words, kept glancing at her face between sentences the way people do when they want credit for courage. Megan noticed something almost immediately. He did not look sad. He looked relieved. Not heartbroken, not conflicted. Relieved. And in that instant, she understood something she should have admitted to herself weeks earlier. Whatever they had been, he had already left it. This conversation was not a loss. It was paperwork. She looked at him for exactly 3 seconds. Then she nodded once and said, "Perfect." For the first time since she had known him, Travis had no idea what to do with her. His eyebrows lifted slightly. Confusion flashed across his face before he covered it with a small laugh, like maybe she had made a joke he had not expected. For half a second, he looked almost offended, as if she had skipped the part where she was supposed to be hurt enough to make him feel important. They had been together almost 2 years, but the relationship had not ended in that booth. It had been ending slowly for months, maybe longer. It had happened in tiny ways that were easy to dismiss while living inside them. Less affection, more sarcasm, more correction, more distance disguised as busyness. Conversations that once wandered for hours now reduced to practical texts and distracted replies. She had kept telling herself this was what long-term relationships looked like once the novelty wore off. But deep down, another part of her had already started packing. About 6 weeks earlier, something in her had gone quiet. Not broken, not dramatic, just quiet. Like a tenant folding clothes into boxes after deciding not to renew the lease. By the time Travis finally said the words, she was not shocked, only confirmed. He leaned back after she said, "Perfect," and his whole body loosened in a way he probably did not realize was visible. Shoulders dropped, jaw unclenched. He smiled too soon. Then he started talking. He told her she was handling this so maturely. He told her he did not want to lose her. He told her she was one of his best people. And then he made the mistake that ended whatever remained between them. He said, almost playfully, that nothing really had to change. That line landed harder than the breakup itself. Something inside Megan clicked into place with such precision it almost felt physical. Not rage, not grief. Clarity. Friends have rules. Friends do not get boyfriend privileges. Friends do not get midnight access because they feel lonely. Friends do not get emotional support on demand. Friends do not get the best parts of her while offering nothing stable in return. And friends definitely do not get to downgrade her while keeping all the benefits of the original arrangement. She paid for her own coffee. That tiny shift caught his attention. He had always reached for the check automatically before. This time she did it without asking, like a line had already been redrawn and only one of them had seen it happen. She wished him luck. Calm smile, even voice. No speech, no trembling hands, no scene. She just walked out into the afternoon light like someone leaving a meeting that had taken longer than necessary. That night, her phone buzzed twice. First a TikTok link, then a voice note. His tone was casual, warm, almost affectionate. As if nothing fundamental had happened between lunch and evening. As if just friends meant continuity. As if he had merely changed labels, not terms. Megan stared at the screen longer than she expected to, and then she understood the actual problem. He thought just friends meant the same access with none of the responsibility. He thought she would keep answering the same way, keep showing up the same way, keep caring the same way. He thought only his title had changed, not his privileges. She did not text back to explain any of this. She did something much quieter and much more dangerous. She decided she would let him discover the difference for himself. Not in one big speech, not in one dramatic confrontation, in patterns, in absence, in boundaries. And by the time Travis noticed what was changing, it would already be too late to stop it. The next morning, Travis texted her at 7:15. "Did you sleep okay?" The smiley face looked strange now, like a leftover from a conversation that no longer existed. Normally, Megan would have replied almost immediately, sometimes before getting out of bed, sometimes before she was fully awake. Their mornings used to begin with small rituals like that. Check-ins, jokes, observations about weather or traffic or whatever dumb thing one of them had dreamed. She had once mistaken those habits for intimacy. Now she could see how many of them had survived long after the care underneath them had started thinning out. She read the text, then turned her phone face down on the counter and made breakfast. Not to punish him, not to play games, just to see what would happen if she stopped performing the role he had gotten used to. She answered at 5:08 that evening. "Yeah, hope your day was good. Short, polite, no question back, no little thread left hanging for him to pull all night." For the first time in nearly 2 years, the conversation ended because she let it end. He called that evening, not FaceTime, a regular call, the kind that assumes privacy, the kind that expects you to step away from your life and make room. She watched it ring twice before answering, finishing the last bite of her protein bar first. "Hey," he said. "Hey." A pause. "You sound different." "I just got back from the gym." That was true. What she did not do was continue. No details about leg day, no complaint about the treadmill, no automatic softening, no conversational cushion. Another pause. "You usually text when you get home." Megan leaned against the kitchen counter and looked out the window. "Yeah," she said. "Usually." That one word changed the whole temperature. He laughed lightly, but she heard the strain in it. "So, what are you doing tonight?" She thought for a second before answering. Not because she needed to think. Because she no longer felt the need to respond instantly just to make him comfortable. "Getting dinner with a friend." His tone sharpened almost invisibly. "Oh yeah? Who?" "Just a friend." "Which one?" She almost smiled. "Does it matter?" Silence. Not dramatic, just long enough to reveal that yes, it did. "Just asking," he said too quickly. Then he suggested they hang out. Like old times. As friends, of course. He said the last part with deliberate lightness, like the word itself protected him from rejection. "Not tonight," Megan said. "Maybe another time." His sigh came out sharp, performed restraint. "You changed fast." She folded one arm across herself and stared at the steam still curling from the kettle on the stove. "No," she said quietly. "We both did." Over the next few days, the shift became measurable. Travis called. She answered when it was convenient, not when it was expected. He vented about work at the marketing agency, a difficult client, a lazy teammate, office politics, the usual recycled frustrations he used to bring her when he wanted relief more than advice. She listened, briefly. "That sounds annoying," she said. Then she stopped. He waited. Because she always used to keep going, used to analyze the situation for him, offer solutions, reassure him, help him edit emails, help him interpret people, help him regulate his moods. This time she let the silence sit there. "You don't have any advice?" he asked finally. "You didn't ask for any." That silence bothered him even more. A few days later, he asked her to come help him assemble an IKEA dresser he had been putting off for weeks. Normally, she would have shown up with coffee and a screwdriver and more patience than he ever gave back. Instead, she opened her calendar. Actually checked it. "I'm busy this weekend." "You never used to be too busy." "That was when we were dating." The line landed harder than she intended. He scoffed. "So you're really doing this?" "Doing what?" "This friends with conditions thing." She kept her voice flat and calm. "You said friends." What she did not say was, yes, and friendship is not unlimited access. That was when his tactics started changing. The direct asks became softer. The guilt became more polished. "Remember when you used to come over just because?" "My friends keep asking why you've disappeared." "You just seem like you don't care anymore." Each sentence sounded gentle if you listened only halfway, but underneath each one was accusation, inventory, pressure. At one point he said, "You always told me I was the best thing that ever happened to you." That one was calculated, not memory, leverage. Megan noticed it immediately, and for the first time she did not rush to correct the discomfort in his voice, did not reassure him, did not soften the edge. That unsettled him more than a fight would have. Then one evening, while they were texting about work, Travis finally said the thing all his behavior had been circling for days. "It's kind of weird seeing you act like you don't want me anymore." Megan stared at the message, not because she lacked an answer, because now she could see the entire architecture of it. He had expected distance. He had not expected detachment. And those are two very different losses. Megan did not respond right away. She reread the message once, then again, It's kind of weird seeing you act like you don't want me anymore." For a second, she almost laughed, not because it was funny, but because once affection was removed from the equation, the sentence sounded so nakedly entitled it was almost absurd. She started typing, stopped, deleted it, started again. Finally, she wrote, "You said we were friends. I'm acting like it." She hit send and locked her phone before she could reconsider it. His reply came almost instantly. "That's cold." She said nothing. Another message. "It's crazy how easy this seems for you." Still nothing. Then, "Were you just waiting for an excuse to leave?" That one almost pulled something old out of her. For half a second, she felt the familiar urge to explain herself, to prove that she had loved him, to argue with the version of her he was creating. But that instinct belonged to a version of her that had survived by clarifying. She set the phone down, walked to the sink, rinsed a mug that was already clean. When she came back, she wrote, "It wasn't easy. It's just clear now." That ended the conversation. And for the first time since the breakup, silence did not feel punishing. It felt clean. 3 days later, he returned in a completely different tone. Softer, easier, almost sweet. "Hope your week's going okay. Saw something that reminded me of you. You looked really good the other day, by the way." The winking emoji felt stranger than any insult could have. It was too familiar, too convenient. A recycled key against a lock that had already been changed. She replied with a thumbs up. That one small emoji did more damage than an argument ever could have. Because anger still means involvement. A thumbs up means distance. That evening, he asked if she wanted to get a drink. Just one, as friends. He made sure to say that part again. Megan surprised herself by agreeing, but she did it on terms she never bothered explaining out loud. One drink. Public place. No emotional wandering, no nostalgia. When Travis walked into the craft beer bar downtown, it was obvious he had misread the entire invitation. He was not overdressed exactly, but intentional. The dark shirt she once said made his eyes look warmer. The watch he rarely wore unless he was trying. Even his hair looked like he had taken more time with it than usual. He sat down smiling like maybe the evening already meant something more than it did. 5 minutes in, he leaned back and said, "You've been really distant." Megan took a sip of her drink. "I'm treating you like a friend." He laughed once, short and disbelieving. "Friends don't act like this." "My friends do." He frowned. "What does that even mean?" "It means they don't expect emotional priority." He looked at her for a second, expression tightening. "And they definitely don't expect exclusivity," she added. That was the moment he realized she was not in a mood. She was in a new reality. His jaw set. Something flickered behind his eyes. The subtle panic of a person recognizing that a door they assumed would stay unlocked had quietly been bolted from the other side. Around that same time, something else began, though not in the dramatic way stories usually pretend these things begin. Dylan worked at the same marketing agency as Travis. Megan had met him at a couple of after-work gatherings over the past month. He was easy to miss at first because he did not dominate rooms. He asked questions, then actually listened to the answers. He laughed at other people's jokes without trying to top them. He never once performed charm like it was a skill he was proud of. One Saturday, he asked if she wanted to grab coffee. He almost ruined the ask by tripping over the wording. "Only if you're free," he added quickly. "Or not exhausted. You kind of look exhausted. Not bad exhausted, forget I said that." She laughed. Not because it was smooth, because it wasn't. At the coffee shop, he knocked over half his iced drink, reaching for a napkin, and apologized to the barista so sincerely, you would have thought he had broken federal law. Megan laughed again. Not because the spill itself was funny, because Travis would have blamed the table. Sitting across from Dylan did not feel electric. It felt easy, like exhaling, like being in a conversation that did not require self-monitoring, like her nervous system had stopped bracing without telling her. There was no grand moment, no swelling soundtrack, no dramatic realization, just relief. Later, when a mutual friend asked whether she had really been spending time with someone new, Megan shrugged and said, "Travis is a friend." The friend raised an eyebrow. "That's interesting," she said, "because he definitely doesn't act like one." Megan smiled into her coffee. "That," she said, "is exactly the problem." Travis found out about Dylan the way people usually find out things that injure their ego most efficiently. Casually, publicly, from someone else. A coworker mentioned seeing Megan and Dylan laughing together at a cafe near the office. According to the friend who later told Megan about it, Travis went completely still for a second. Not angry, not dramatic. Still. The kind of stillness that only shows up when someone is trying to keep their face from betraying them in front of other people. He did not say much for the rest of the day. That night, he did not confront Megan directly. Instead, he started working the perimeter. A mutual friend texted Megan out of nowhere asking if she was okay. The tone was strange. Careful, overly gentle, like she was checking on someone rumored to be unstable. Megan answered that she was fine. That was when the actual story surfaced. Travis had been telling people Megan was spiraling, that she was acting out of character, that she was obviously not over him, that Dylan was some kind of revenge move meant to provoke jealousy. Every version of his story omitted one crucial detail. He was the one who had ended the relationship. It was almost impressive, the instinctive way he had rearranged the narrative so he still got to be the center of it. If he could not control her behavior anymore, he would at least try to control the meaning of it. A few days later, he stopped circling. He went straight to her. He caught her outside a rooftop lounge near the river, one of those places they used to go when they were together because he liked the view and she liked the fact that nobody there ever rushed them out. It was early evening, cold enough that people were staying close to the heat lamps, music drifting from inside, glass doors opening and closing behind them. Travis stood with his arms crossed, like he had been rehearsing his posture as much as his words. "Are you really dating him?" he asked. "Yes." No pause, no explanation, no softening. He shook his head slowly, almost like a disappointed parent. "I didn't think you were that kind of girl." She looked at him evenly. "What kind?" "The kind that moves on with someone I have to see every day." She waited. "That's embarrassing," he added. Megan tilted her head just slightly. "For who?" His composure cracked so fast it almost would have been funny in another life. "For me, obviously." And there it was. Not heartbreak, humiliation. "You're doing this to prove something," he said. "You want me to feel replaced." Megan looked at him for a long second before answering. "You replaced yourself." He blinked. "What?" "You did that the moment you asked for friendship and still expected relationship access." Color rose from his neck into his face. "That's not fair. Neither is keeping someone close while you decide whether they're still useful to you." His mouth tightened. "I could have come back, you know." That line hung between them. Not a promise, not love, a test. An offer to return to uncertainty and call it hope. Megan did not even blink. "You already made your choice." For the first time since he approached her, he looked genuinely thrown. Then, quieter, angrier, more honest than he probably meant to be, he said, "I thought you'd wait." That was the first completely truthful sentence he had spoken, and somehow it was the ugliest one. Megan let it sit there between them for a moment. Then she said, "That was your mistake." He laughed then, sharp and bitter. "So what, he's your boyfriend now?" "Yes." The word came out steadier than she expected. Solid. True. He looked away for a second, jaw working. "Good luck," he said. "He'll get bored too." She could have defended herself, could have defended Dylan, could have argued with the cruelty in it. Instead, she just said, "Maybe." That answer caught him off balance. "But at least he won't expect access after letting me go." Then she turned and walked away. No final flourish, no trembling, no looking back. And for the first time since the breakup, he was the one left standing in public with nowhere to put his anger except into the cold. He passive-aggressive social media posts stopped first. Then the strange check-ins from mutual friends dried up. Then the loaded little comments from people who clearly had been hearing Travis's version of events disappeared too. It was like he had finally realized the audience was no longer responding to the performance. So he tried one last time without witnesses. Late Thursday evening, Megan's phone lit up with his name. "Are you really serious about Dylan?" She was on the couch in her apartment in Midtown while Dylan stood in the kitchen arguing passionately that ranch dressing belonged on far more foods than society was currently willing to accept. He was waving a fork around like he was defending a doctoral thesis. At one point, he dropped it mid-sentence, stared at it on the floor and said, "I've lost credibility." Megan laughed so hard she had to put her phone down for a second. It felt easy, ridiculous, normal. The kind of normal she had not realized she was starving for until she had it. She picked up the phone and typed back. Yes. The typing bubble appeared almost immediately. Disappeared. Appeared again. Disappeared. Then finally, I just don't understand how you can move on like that. That line irritated her more than she expected, because it still centered him, still framed her life as a reaction to his feelings, still treated her forward movement like some kind of betrayal. You moved on first, she wrote back. You just expected me to stay available while you did it. No response. 5 minutes. 10. Then a voice note came through. His voice was quieter than usual, less polished, less like someone performing the role of the misunderstood good guy. I wasn't trying to lose you, he said. I just needed you to stay while I figured things out. I thought you'd understand. Megan listened once, then again. And on the second listen, she noticed something surprising. She did not feel much of anything. No fresh anger, no sorrow. No temptation to rescue him from his own honesty. Just distance. And that was when she knew it was truly over. There it was at last, spoken plainly. He had wanted her paused, available, emotionally parked while he explored his uncertainty and called it complexity. He had wanted her to remain nearby like a bookmark, not a person with a life that moved when he stepped out of it. She put the phone face down on the couch. Then she got up and helped Dylan set the table. They ate dinner, talked about weekend plans, argued about a terrible movie he wanted her to watch because he insisted it was bad in an important way. At some point, she looked over and realized she could not even remember the exact wording of Travis's message anymore. That felt important. Later that night, after Dylan had gone home and the apartment had gone quiet, Megan opened the thread one last time, read the voice note transcript, set the phone down, picked it up again, typed, "Friends don't wait in limbo while someone decides if they're convenient." She almost added more, didn't, sent it. For a few seconds, the typing bubble appeared, then vanished. Nothing else came. No final plea, no anger, no grand speech, just silence. The next afternoon, Dylan glanced up from his phone and said casually, "Your ex tried to follow me." He turned the screen toward her. Follow request. Pending. Then gone. Declined? Megan asked. He grinned. Immediately. He handed her the phone and said one word. Boundaries. She smiled. And in that moment, the entire shape of it settled inside her with a kind of quiet certainty. Travis had not lost her when she started dating someone new. He had lost her much earlier than that, the day he assumed she would accept less just to remain connected, the day he mistook her loyalty for indefinite availability, the day he believed he could step back from the relationship without losing his place inside her life. He just had not noticed the exact moment it happened. She had. And by the time he finally understood it, she was already living in a version of peace he no longer had access to. Some people think they lose you when you walk away. The truth is harsher than that. Sometimes they lose you the moment they expect you to stay. If this story made you feel something, hit that like button. Drop a comment telling us what you would have done in the main character's place, and subscribe to Sinner Stories so you never miss a new video.